Okay. Now live. Nobody's watching, but I'm sure y'all see this on the replay anyway. First of all, if you don't know who I am or forgot who I am, my name is Elemento, and this is Technoscope. If you've been a long-time viewer of the channel, or if you've been following what that have gone on the channel, you'll know that a couple years ago I built what is one of my greatest pride and joys of tech for basically for my YouTube business, which is what I call Project Sledgehammer, which is an over-the-top PC build that I've always wanted to do since I've been building PCs since the early 90s. And the PC build, if you've seen the videos, if you follow on this channel, you've more than likely seen at least one of the videos for Project Sledgehammer. And you've probably seen some of the project, if not all of it. If you have followed it, you know that the case that I used was a nice, huge, it was huge, intentionally huge black case by the company CaseLabs, which is probably, or was probably, the most premium case manufacturer in the country, if not the world. They were used by a lot of big names before I decided to pull the trigger on them. If you follow Jay's 2 cents, you know that his Project Skunkworks was built in a CaseLabs case. Tom from 3D Hardware, he has one, OC 3D Hardware. He has one. I don't know if he ever gave his a name, but I remember watching his video before I pulled the trigger. And there are a lot of other ones. There were a lot of videos I watched before I even built Sledgehammer. But this company, it was a mom and pop business. They weren't a huge international corporation or anything. They were a mom and pop business based here in the good old US of A. And they were making great products, and they were basically filling a niche that was out there, making awesome products, awesome quality. The products that they sell were just beyond anything else you've ever seen. Now, a couple years ago, around the time I built Project Sledgehammer, Jay's 2 cents came down hard on Thermaltake, because Thermaltake went out there and flat out copied the designs that CaseLabs was using and started selling them under their own name. Now, Thermaltake, they're probably not a super huge company, but I would guess that they're much bigger than CaseLabs was. So it's kind of not fair that they were doing such a thing. But at the same time, people understood that the quality of Thermaltake cases wasn't, it just wasn't there. It wasn't as good as the CaseLab case. But this really hurts to see this happening, and I kind of knew this was going to happen. I typically don't get into politics, but I kind of want to break this down to people who don't realize what happened over the last year. So you have the United States government, and the United States government is a certain size and requires a certain amount of funding. Just like what happened back in the Bush years when they passed tax breaks that we couldn't afford and sent everything into chaos, they passed another one that we couldn't afford. I mean, think about it, guys. We were already, you know, what, $1 trillion over budget every year, and they passed a tax break. That's like, you know, seriously drowning in debt. All your bills are not paid. You got credit cards, you know, maxed out, and the bills are coming due, and you decide, gonna start working part-time, and I don't need to work 8 hours a day. It's basically what the United States government did when they passed a tax break that pretty much only affected the wealthiest people. So they turn around a couple months later, and keep in mind, we're in the greatest economic times we've ever been in. And the people that want to attribute it to Trump, go ahead, do whatever you want to. But if you just Google the U.S. economy, you see since around 2009, halfway through 2009, or somewhere around there, when the economy finally turned around, it's been on a steady incline ever since. And the Dow Jones, the stock markets, the NASDAQ, all of that stuff is doing better now than it ever has historically. But somehow Trump was able to convince a lot of people in his party that China was killing us and that we were hurting, and that somehow we had to do something. We had to step up and do something about China, because they were just they're just taking advantage of us. And what the true motive behind this is that they had to somehow recover all these tax cuts that they just gave the richest people. So what did they do? They passed new tariffs on all the imports to China, which is probably the biggest import country by far. So they take that tax burden off the richest people, and then they spread it across everybody who buys any products in this country. And keep in mind that while it still affects the rich, it doesn't affect them as much, because they're not necessarily spending all that money that they were earning. You have somebody like me who makes a check and has to spend, 2/3 or more of it every single month just to afford everything that I need. It affects me a lot more than somebody who's got, millions in the bank that's drawing interest off millions in the bank. It doesn't take a genius to realize that it affects us a lot more. So they passed these new tariffs, basically spreading the tax burden out against, throughout all the consumer base in the United States. And what happened to CaseLabs is it created a shortage in materials, the materials that they needed to build the case. In particular, aluminum, which is one of the things that Trump went after very hard. I can't remember what the percentage was, but I think his tariffs were something like 30% or something ridiculous. It might have even been higher, I'm not sure, but he went after aluminum. And what this did was it forced people to stop buying aluminum from China, and they started buying it from countries in the U.S. Well, companies in the U.S. selling aluminum could not keep up with the demand, which caused the price of the materials to increase even higher. And keep in mind, you have a market demand, sort of like gold. When the price of gold goes up one place, it goes up everywhere. It isn't just because it's higher in one part of the country doesn't mean that it remains cheap somewhere else. So when the price of aluminum went up, everybody had to pay more. And in the end, the materials that CaseLabs was using went up 80%. And today, it all came crashing down, and they filed for bankruptcy and will no longer be making cases. Guys, this, as the tech community, this affects us. These tariffs affect us more than pretty much any other industry. It affects automakers, but the difference with automakers is those companies are international. It's so stupid, because you increase the price, the price of the materials coming in goes way up, right? So what do? They shift those jobs outside of the country, build those vehicles, and then send them here. That way they get around the tariff anyway. But mom and pop shops like CaseLabs that have their only manufacturing in the United States, they can't do that. So it literally put them out of business. I don't know what else to say, dude. This is so disgusting to me that we are allowing this to happen. And the whole reason they're saying that we needed these tariffs was to make, I'm not going to say the MAGA words, but it was supposed to make the country better. This doesn't make anything better. Making products, what tariffs are intended to do, more or less, is to make the market more fair, so that our higher prices and higher labor can compete with cheaper prices and cheaper labor elsewhere. Which I still think is unfair, because those tariffs go directly into the pockets of Uncle Sam, no matter what. But making things more expensive just so that we can keep certain jobs here that weren't here before doesn't seem to make any sense. We still have, I mean, we're at the lowest, you know, unemployment rate right now ever. The economy is doing better than it has ever done. I don't understand what in the world these tariffs were intended to do, but they are definitely putting businesses out of business. So now you have an entire company, I think they're in California. It's an entire company that is out of business. All of their employees are unemployed, and they still have, you know, people that they owe money to. That's why they have to file bankruptcy. So those people that they owe money to aren't going to get paid as well. This is not making things better. This is making things far worse. And it's not limited to just aluminum. It affects a lot of other metals. It affects a lot of semiconductor imports, things like motherboards. I saw a report not too long ago, and I think I posted it. If you follow my Twitter feed or my Facebook feed, I post news articles all the time. One of the stories that I saw not too long ago was that the price of electronics is expected to go up. A blanket increase across the industry, about 25% later this year. So those new video cards that NVIDIA are coming out will probably be more expensive than they wanted them to be, even given the crazy way the demand is working right now. You have motherboards that are coming in. If you're buying like Threadripper right now, or the new Ryzen 2 chipsets, or the processor, buy all that stuff right now. Things that you know you will definitely need and not going to be replaced in the next 6 months. Buy that stuff now, because the price is going to go up ridiculously. I want to actually replace some of the components in Sledgehammer with Threadripper too. So this is all stuff I will be talking about in later videos. But I don't know. It's already expensive. The prices of memory is already expensive, but this stuff, they're hitting it with tariffs just so that they can raise more money, because they know that they can say that it's good for our economy, while at the same time pocketing every dollar that they add as a tax, which is why I call it a tax tariff. It's not just tariff, it's a tax tariff. It's literally new taxes that everybody pays, and somehow the voter base as a majority, as a whole, is behind it. This is crazy. This is ridiculous. So I don't know what else to say, guys. I'm disgusted by this, but we just lost a good friend in the PC market, losing CaseLabs. Regardless of if you were actually in the market to buy one of the cases, I mean, they're not all super expensive. Like, yes, I paid $800 for the case that Sledgehammer is in, but they had $200 cases too. They were premium built, you know, great quality, great materials. The craftsmanship of their products is great. It's just awesome product, or they were awesome products, and we're losing that. We've lost it, and we lost it to a cause that doesn't really exist, and it's just plain stupid. Let me read these real quick. All the guys are saying hi, what's up? It's good seeing y'all. Hey, Maddox, thank you for being that Patreon that Patreon supporter, man. Thank you. I'm not sure what. Okay, anyway, yeah, another company bites the dust. It's sad and unfortunate. But yeah, guys, I wasn't going to do anything on this channel until I get my new place and get everything set up, but I had to speak about this because it hurt. I have the case. I still have my case. I still have my computer, and it's sad that I will never be able to build another one like it, or or try one of their other cases, and then the people who come and see my product, my projects, they will never get to, you know, enjoy one of those premium cases, you know, because of this. It's sad. But yeah, I had to speak on it. We lost a good friend in the tech community today. So anyway, just real quick, I'm still about a month and a half out before I get to actually go out and find my new place. But like I said before, once that happens, things are going to pick up very quickly. My place is going to be my place, since, you know, I'm single now and everything. Half of my place is going to be pure studio. So I expect it to pick up a lot quicker. There are going to be major changes on this channel, because I'm turning it from a straight, well, it's not straight, but it's mostly review based. I'm going to change it from a mostly review individual video kind of style to a community based thing, and I'm going to try to pull you guys into what I'm doing a lot more. There will be I'm planning to do a dedicated live stream at least once a week, in which I will be reading comments from videos that were left over the last week. I'll be hopefully doing like some critiques of builds, setups, things that you guys are doing. Try to pull in projects that y'all are working in, discuss those. Like if you have something that you're working on that's pretty cool, I'll probably be bringing that kind of stuff in. I have a lot of plans. I'm actually writing all this stuff down and keeping note of what I want to do. But it's gonna turn from a channel that just makes reviews or review videos, or, you know, whatever, to a community focused type of deal. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that, because that's off, but it hurts, guys. It really does. I mean, I look at my case and I feel like I'm looking at a photo of a friend that just passed away. So but if you have anything to say, go ahead and leave a comment. Go ahead and, you know, hopefully share this. If people didn't know that they were closing down, because I just found out by I came across a post on Facebook. I actually went out and researched to make sure that it was legit, and it really was. So get the word out there, and we need to do something about these tariffs, man. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I hope you guys have a good Friday night. I hope everything's going good for you guys. It is definitely looking up for me. I love my new job, and I'm trying to get back to my other day job, you know, making videos and stuff. So I hope to see you guys pretty soon. Give me about a month and a half, guys, and we're gonna kick it off again. So hope y'all guys have a good night. See you later.